Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Rotten Tomatoes. And wow, it looks like the friendly media is finally catching on that Rotten Tomatoes is worthless, but not for the reasons we've been saying.
Not in the way you'd think. I was all excited when I saw this. I'm like, oh, you mean you're gonna actually acknowledge that review bombing makes Rotten Tomatoes irrelevant, which everybody's been saying for a while now. Yeah, they do, but we'll get to that in a second.
We will get to that. So we're going to talk about Rotten Tomatoes, how it relates to Captain Marvel, Batwoman, now Watchmen, Doctor Who Season 11. We're going to talk about Batwoman getting another season or another episode order.
I don't know.
Because they said the ratings were so good.
Oh, they're serious.
They said the ratings were good on DVR. Yeah.
On DVR.
Yeah. Hey,
so wait,
I'm just saying what they said.
Okay.
I'm just saying what they said. They can't let Batwoman fail. And that's what this whole thing is about, is there are certain franchises.
You can't let women fail. I'm just going to say it. I'm a woman. You can't let women fail.
There is a common thread.
I'm saying it. You can't let women fail.
All right, so before we get into the video, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. We're almost at 70,000 subs, hoping to hit 100,000 soon. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It's greatly appreciated. Helps us bring you content like this, where we complain about everything, because that's all we do on here.
Actually, I would like to do things that we aren't. I do want to do maybe tomorrow, where we talk about some 80s things and some fun old Halloween shows, and we do some fun stuff. And on Tuesday the 29th at 7 Eastern p.m.
I think it's 7. Yeah, we're going to do Halloween.
We're going to talk about Halloween ghost stories, true ghost stories. You have some, I have some. Maybe my mom, Mama Sparkles, will pop in and back me up. I don't know if she'll be able to if she's busy. So anyway, back to this. Okay, basically at the heart of this whole thing, I'm just going to say it like it is they're claiming there is a campaign to downvote these movies and shows because of women, basically is what they're saying. They're calling it certain agendas, but that's what they're meaning. And you know what? Bullshit. I mean, there might be on some level that's going on, but no different than them. You see a concerted effort to upvote things or downvote things that they don't like too. So, I mean, heck, we know that when Captain Marvel came out, there was a whole campaign on Twitter to vote it up artificially.
Yeah, we saw that with, to some extent, with She-Ra.
Oh yeah, every other comment, yay! I'm just quoting them. Lesbian power. Inclusion,
literally,
diversity.
Those were the 5-star reviews, and it
was to say like, "Yay, lesbian power."
And we know that this, firsthand. We know on our end anyway that there are efforts on Tumblr and Instagram and Twitter to downvote people who don't
collude.
To collude.
I just want to use that
to
word.
To downvote videos that are anti or critical of She-Ra, and to upvote
because they don't like it.
They don't like it.
No, they don't like it.
They don't like She-Ra.
No, that wasn't what I was saying.
I know. I know. You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that.
Take it for me.
Oh
anyway.
My God. So yeah, review bombing could be the final nail in Rotten Tomatoes relevancy. Yeah, but again, this is the reverse of what the fans have been saying.
Can't we just say right off, Rotten Tomatoes has no relevancy? I mean, let's just be honest here. It really has no relevancy. I don't think anybody takes it seriously anymore.
Rotten Tomatoes is a marketing tool being used by the studios. I think
Disney.
Oh,
sorry. Excuse me.
I think Disney uses it more than most people because Disney has a connection.
I just want to point out, Maleficent had an awful lot of really high reviews.
Audience score.
Yeah. Of audience score reviews right off the gate, which is not what I was hearing people who actually went. And it ties into that whole idea, where is Disney like buying seats for things? And if they have a seat purchased, they can put a review up.
That is true, because that's all it takes to verify is a seat purchase. So
I'm not saying they are or they aren't, because I honestly don't know. Is it a possibility? Yes. Yeah. Are they doing it for sure? I have no idea if they're doing it for sure.
I don't know either. I'm
saying it's a possibility.
Well, I did a video earlier on talking about the seats with Star Wars. I'm like, I don't even know how they would pull it off. Without being caught, unless it's just a matter of time until they're caught.
Wait, but you're assuming they get caught. If the theaters want to keep running pop culture movies and a certain studio owns most of the pop culture now, they're going to have to go along with it. And they get caught. They might have gotten caught. They might not. We don't know what's going on. But it is awfully weird.
Just hypothetically speaking, do the individual theaters care if the people who buy the tickets even show up? Because they
get the money either way.
They get the money either way. So if they sell 200 tickets and only 50 people actually show up, it doesn't matter. They already get the money.
Well, where they make most of their money is concessions, so it does hurt them.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking like 1 or 2 days. Or we're talking multiple days that this was going on.
I think it's the opening weekend.
Well, in that case, it could be, but they'll argue if it is them. Oh, we were buying those up to give to people or promotions, or we're gonna bus people in for a low cost of $3, and you get, movie ticket, popcorn, drink, and everything. Things like that. So they'll probably, if it is them, it'll be argued that it was for promotion.
So here's the thing. Rotten Tomatoes, much like the blogs, a lot of these blogs now are basically viewed by these studios, the same 4 or 5 studios that own everything, as a marketing tool. To push their movies and push their products. Rotten Tomatoes CEO.
I was just going to say it. Go ahead.
Yep. Well, you can if you want.
No, go ahead. You can say it.
Okay, the Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Fandango. Reminding people, because some people haven't watched the videos, is owned by Fandango. Fandango's CEO is a longtime Disney executive. Mm-hmm. So there is a connection there. Adam Tickets, which you talked about before, is owned. It
was major funding sources from 3 locations: Lionsgate, Disney, and Fox, which now Disney owns. So Lionsgate and Disney, and on their board sits J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. So this is true. Having worked in digital marketing for years, I can tell you that when you've got this kind of money on the line, you're going to use everything at your disposal to make sure these movies don't bomb. And especially with something like Star Wars, where it's really iffy with the fandom right now. But what we're seeing is these franchises that they're trying to push that people don't want. They don't want a Watchmen sequel or prequel or whatever the heck it is. They don't care about Captain Marvel. Batwoman is not doing it for them. Doctor Who Season 11's not doing it for them, but they're not allowed to fail.
They're not allowed to fail. So let's look at this article, because now we went the long way around to get to it.
Okay.
So
we always do that when we get on. We just get going. And...
So in recent years, Rotten Tomatoes has established itself as the go-to aggregator site for critical. I'm sorry, I laughed about that. For critical and audience consensus on movies and TV series, score reveals have become celebrated events. Okay, with considerable build-up and fan anticipation.
Considerable build-up. They stroke it until.
Let me redo this again. With considerable build-up, and fan anticipation. I had to do it because Halloween.
It's almost Halloween.
While studios and networks utilize the certified fresh seal and promotional material, you can wipe your butt with that. Simultaneously, for women, it's always fresh. We poop rainbows and glitter.
You should get a certified fresh. Like they should have panty liners that have the Rotten Tomatoes certified fresh.
Yeah. You want a Rotten Tomato, not a rotten egg or something. Yeah. Simultaneously, the site has been drawn into a bizarre war between fans and critics, as it's used to illustrate a disconnect between fan and critical scores. Well, clearly there's a disconnect. Look at 2018's Venom as an example. It has a 29% on a tato meter.
The tater meter.
Tater meter. It has tater meter, but an audience score of 80%. It wasn't that bad of a movie, actually. To be fair, critics and fans have disagreed on reviews for decades. This is where I love where this goes. But it feels heightened now due to the emphasis on critical reception by social media and entertainment publications. You mean like this one? Many films and TV series have succeeded financially and become pop culture mainstays despite not being critical darlings. Well, this has happened for decades.
Yeah.
And this will likely continue for the foreseeable future. So it's really a non-issue. Then why are we having a whole article about it? Okay? Unfortunately, Rotten Tomatoes has been caught up in another problem. Review bombing. Don't let your kids do that.
Oh, this sounds like an after-school special.
I know, right? This year alone, there have been 3 high-profile... Oh, there's more than 3!
Sounds like a murder.
There is more than 3 high-profile cases. But these high-profile cases relate to their argument of fans barraging the site with negative reviews for Captain Marvel, Batwoman, and Watchmen.
Okay, I'm just thinking I gotta interject here because this sounds like an after-school special. Mm-hmm. It sounds like they're describing like a murder or something. I could just see them doing like a PSA, like, Jimmy's parents don't know what he does when he comes home from school and he locks the door. He's looking at pictures.
Wait, is he doing drugs? No. Is it porn? No.
No. He's downvoting Captain Marvel. He's downvoting Batwoman. And he's downvoting Watchmen. And then he's creating sock puppet accounts to downvote them again. Right. Jimmy has a problem. All I can do is push the down button on women.
Jimmy has an identity crisis.
He pushes women down.
He pushes women down because he's a Russian bot. Anyway, so the issue is the reviews often have nothing to do with the quality of the product. That is not true, but more to do with the perception of it. Okay, wait. I saw Captain Marvel. I didn't think Captain Marvel was as bad as I thought it was going to be, but that's only because she wasn't the star in her own movie. Had she been the star in her own movie, it would have been a lot worse. It was only decent because she was kind of a supporting cast member and it wasn't carried by her. Batwoman, I honestly haven't seen because the trailer alone was enough to make me never want to watch it because I was like so put off by that as a woman. I was like, oh my God, again? And Watchmen, I really don't give a shit. So that's more your speed than mine.
I'm not even going to watch Watchmen. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. The comic is hallowed ground. I never read any of the comic book sequels to Watchmen. I have no desire to.
I know you have the book, though.
Yeah, I do.
I know you do.
I love it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to. I honestly haven't even watched the Watchmen movie because I don't. It's one of those things where I'm like, I know it's going to taint my perception of the original because for me, it is definitely one of the greatest comic books ever made. And you can't do it justice. You can't do it justice.
So don't taint things.
Don't taint it.
So Batwoman in particular has suffered the wrath of outraged fanboys for its pro-feminist stance and positioning of Kate Kane as being a better superhero than Bruce Wayne, Batman. Okay, I'm going to stop this person right here. It doesn't matter. I'm reading it. I'm a woman. I'm actually a feminist woman, but I'm a real feminist woman where it's about equality and not just, some version of feminism where all men suck and it's always men's problems. I watched a trailer and I was offended for men. It was just like, could you be any more insulting? And then they were basically making out like she's better than Batman. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, while stealing Batman's equipment.
Right, stealing all his stuff. She didn't even do it herself.
What would have made that trailer so much better is if they would have had Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Do, bat signal.
Okay, that would have been funny. Okay, but again, here, we're talking about, I'm sorry, I'm taking over this, but I don't care. Yeah. They're talking about 3 high-profile cases, and they mention these 3 cases that all the media is all over because, they're trying to be apologists for them. Whether or not they're good or bad, doesn't matter. They're apologizing. And of course, it has to be because outraged fanboys. I am so effing tired. As a woman, this is written by a man, this article, and I'm speaking to you because I know you people know that we do videos on your thing and get pissed about it. As a woman, stop speaking for me, stop telling people I have no opinion, because when you do this shit, basically you're saying it's all men who don't like things, and then any woman who disagrees with you is automatically marginalized twice. We were trying to stand up for women in these, written by an article by a man. We're standing up for women on these three things. Because I'm standing up for women. Here's a woman telling you, I don't agree with you. There's a lot of women telling you they don't agree with you, and your answer is to step over them like they don't exist. Okay? So anyway, I'm sorry, did you want to say something?
Just tell me to get in the kitchen, make some pie.
No, but you can cook more of that broccoli stuff you made for dinner because it was really good.
Broccoli stuff. My broccoli is bitchin'.
His broccoli is bitchin'.
Bitchin' broccoli. Okay, so they're talking about the audience score of 12%. They're talking about Catwoman. That's also 2004. Like, this is a pretty recent thing. This manipulation of Rotten Tomatoes is, I think, once the studios figured out that they could manipulate this and manipulate the perception, that's when they really ramped it up. I think it's only been the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's like
really hit it hard.
And I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I'm not saying there aren't concerted efforts to vote things down, because I do think there are concerted efforts, to vote things down. I think that Batwoman was one that they were deliberately voting down. However, I know there are concerted efforts and groups to come and vote things up. I've seen it with Doctor Who. I've seen it with She-Ra. We've seen it with several things. But there was one part. This next part's hilarious. While Batwoman isn't a perfect show by any means, wait, I thought you just said it didn't deserve bad reviews because it was great. There are legitimate criticisms to be made. Well, how do we know people aren't making legitimate criticisms? Just because they have a penis doesn't mean that they don't have a legitimate criticism. It has all been lost in the noise like this article. The showrunners are unable to sift through the feedback to improve the series because they aren't sure what is factual and what is trolling. Well, I don't know. Not everybody is trolling. So whatever the common denominator in the critiques are is most likely what's factual, because you can't say every bad review is trolling.
So for what it's worth, Rotten Tomatoes is put in. So okay, so let me just back this up a second here. So they're effectively saying, like, stop trolling because the screenwriters and the producers don't know what's good now because you're all being such haters.
Well, no, because they're saying stop pushing this feminist agenda. Well, that's just all trolling. Every single negative comment related to her being a woman is trolling.
That's right.
Even
Russian
when it's
bots.
written by women.
Russian bots. Actually, I would argue that media outlets stoking the fires have caused just as much, if not more,
I was going to bring that up down lower, but they're talking about how they're putting measures to combat this trend. Basically, putting measures that certain things are protected, usually involving women. But this is where it gets interesting. Let's be real here. The site has diverged from its original purpose by no fault of its own, becoming a catalyst for people to argue and promote warped agendas. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment. Warped agendas. You mean like maybe people are just sick and tired of sites like this one and other ones telling them what they have to like and what they can't like. And maybe they're tired of, if you have legitimate criticism and you happen to be male, even if you're female, you're automatically told that you're a man-baby troll because you don't agree with their warped agenda. I'm just saying, like for the She-Ra thing, for example, I think more people were turned off because immediately when you had any criticism of the designs at all, you were automatically called a misogynist, you were called a sexist, you were called a racist, you troll with names. They went on this big offensive how they can call by name. Same with The Last Jedi. Didn't like it. Obviously, you hate strong women and you can't handle strong female characters, and every criticism you had was irrelevant because you were just a misogynist, racist, sexist, whatever.
Nobody wants to be a sexist, racist, whatever.
I'm just saying. So, they want to use it as a catalyst to promote their warped agenda, agendas. And that's what they're using their platform for. A catalyst to promote what they believe is the correct agenda. It is the same coin, different side, buddy.
Yeah, they're using all these pop culture outlets to promote warped agendas, biased agendas, and they're accusing Rotten Tomatoes of doing the same thing. But, I can agree with this. They said, eventually, this will all come to a head, and the audience will grow tired and decides their time is better spent actually watching a film or TV show or YouTube, rather than arguing about with complete strangers online. With this shift could come the demise of platforms such as Rotten Tomatoes and Comic Book Resources and comicbook.com and Nerdist and the Mary Sue and IO9 and a bunch of others.
And it's just like, I just love this down here, the last thing on here too. They're talking about how it's dangerous, to have a healthy passion for shows, but it's dangerous when you have to be into radical territory. Well, I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of radical articles coming out of sites like this telling everybody that, calling people fake man babies. They've actually used headlines, or people are not necessarily Comic Book Resources, but other sites like it, where they flat out said man babies in the headlines. But this...
headlines like this one. Rise of Skywalker presale records proves fan boycott was an empty threat.
No, it doesn't. That's a whole other video. Yeah, whatever. Adam is owned again by Disney. Anyway, but I like this. This last paragraph takes a taco. In the past, if you just liked a show or movie's premise, you'd ignore it and move on. Also, in the past, if people didn't like a movie show or premise, and they said, I don't really like that, people would just not care and move on. Because you are allowed to like it, you're allowed not to like it. But now, if you don't like things like The Last Jedi, or She-Ra, or Batwoman, or whatever, it becomes the theme of many, many articles for these websites talking about what bad people you are for not liking them because they personally are bought off or like it themselves. So in the past, if you just like the show or movie's premise, you'd ignore it and move on. 100%, yes. In the past, if I didn't like a show or movie, and I said so, sites like this one wouldn't attack me for it. But they continue to do so.
Yeah, so this is funny because this almost sounds like, haters, you need to just, not go to Rotten Tomatoes anymore. Nowadays, there's this urge to mobilize and dissuade others from watching something through feeble activities, such as review bombing. It's counterintuitive because if entertainment touches you emotionally, positively, or negatively, has succeeded. Indifference is and always will be the greatest punishment to art.
We've said that many times. When you become apathetic, that's the real killer. But, back to this again. Activities like review bombing, while we've seen concerted efforts to artificially inflate scores on shows.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing, and I'm sorry. If I don't like the show, I don't care if I don't like the show. I actually talked, I didn't like Last Jedi. And when I came online to not like the thing I did, I was okay, you know, you're allowed to like it, I don't care for it. That's kind of my attitude, I just didn't care for it. I had this one guy try to jump all over me and tell me that I was wrong. It was beautiful. It was art, and would not leave me alone. And I didn't fundamentally understand the character of Luke Skywalker because I didn't get why he liked The Last Jedi. I didn't attack him. I didn't say he wasn't allowed to like it. I was like, okay, you know, you're allowed to like it. You're not allowed to like it. Anybody who follows us knows that's what I say. And they would not let it go and kept coming after me because I didn't like it. So this load of shit needs to stop. I'm tired of it. Yes, in the past, if you just liked the show or movie's premise, it was just a stupid TV show or movie, you were allowed to say, I like it. Okay. You're allowed to say, I don't like it. Okay, let's talk about something we agree on. Not now. Media doesn't let you because then they won't get their fucking clicks. Sorry, Mom.
Is 100% true. These sites stoke the fires because they know that's where the clicks are. They know if they give a contrary opinion, they're going to get all kinds of hate clicks. And these sites are hanging on by their fingertips. Mm-hmm. They don't generate enough revenue to survive. They hate YouTube. They hate YouTubers. Most of these comic book sites loathe YouTubers because people like us take their eyeballs away.
Yeah,
you know,
we call it hypocrisy too, and this is nothing but hypocrisy. I'm like, you know, you don't like these. I don't like these agendas. They're you know, extremist agendas, because it's not what you agree with, and that's just what makes me mad. It's like, well, you're doing the exact same thing. It just happens to be that you're arguing for the side you agree with. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. How about you just understand? Take your own damn advice and understand if people don't like a show or premise, you can ignore that they don't like it and move on. Unless they're personally harassing you specifically, and are there people out there harassed? There are, but they're very few and far between. They do not represent the vast majority. And I'm tired of hearing that people don't like Last Jedi or a vocal minority. That's a load of shit, flat out. You know, the toys aren't selling, stuff was getting changed, and they're worried about how this movie's gonna do, and everything else. People aren't showing up for Galaxy's Edge. It is not a vocal minority, and your politics don't apply to every moviegoer in the whole world, because different places in the world have different politics.
That is true. That is very true. People forget about that. So, real quick, before we wrap this video up.
I went off. I apologize.
That's okay.
I don't apologize. Sorry, not sorry.
So Rotten Tomatoes is effectively worthless, and thank you.
We already knew that.
Everybody knows. Newsflash, Rotten Tomatoes is worthless.
In case you didn't know already.
Yeah, so we're just going to roll this into the video because it doesn't
Oh, sorry,
work.
I went long on the other thing.
Yeah,
My apologies.
That's okay.
We'll keep it 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, and this is what the payoff is. The payoff is basically, you know, look how well this is doing. They're propping these shows up. They're propping them up, and now they're saying that, you know, even though it was headline news a couple of weeks ago that Batwoman had terrible ratings, now apparently, because of you know, delayed viewing via DVR or something or streaming, Batwoman deserves a full season. They're not going to cancel Batwoman, so there you go. That again, you're never going to see these numbers. They're just going to tell you that Batwoman's not
DVR is why they're what they're saying. That's
what they're saying. And the fantastic critical score on Rotten Tomatoes probably factors into it. The show's not going to be allowed to fail. It's not going to be allowed
to fail because of the studio and because it's a woman.
And speaking of people not allowed to fail, I think Brie Larson is also not going to be allowed to fail. So Captain Marvel, they put her in Captain Marvel. People didn't like Captain Marvel. You know,
well, now she wants to be in Star Wars.
Now she wants to be in Star Wars. So what are they going to do? They're potentially going to attach her to a very much beloved fan favorite character to get the fans to like Brie Larson. This could be like a chess move. This could be like, let's make Brie Larson Ahsoka Tano so people will love her as Captain Marvel.
It could be. And the thing is, this is not a new rumor, actually. This has been going on for a while. But yeah, so please don't. If you take anything from anybody, Disney, I wouldn't recommend this.
This is not a good move. This is like Star Wars is already dead, and this is just kicking the carcass.
And people might have given Brie Larson more of a pass, even though honestly in Captain Marvel she really does act like she's got a stick up her butt. I understand it's a character partly. I do get that, but it goes beyond that. She's been okay in other movies, but her going off at the mouth was a big part of what turned people off to Captain Marvel, I think. Yeah,
we don't know how far the rabbit hole goes, because I mean, I'm wondering, you know, how much of of this is all manipulation. It's all manipulation by the studios to get fans talking. Again, like they said in this article, and like we've said before, that if you're indifferent, then it's dead. But as long as you feel passionate one way or the other,
we've said that many times.
You know,
apathy is death.
Right? Like, who cares? Like Captain Marvel, 5 or 6 years ago, would have come out in the theater, would have blown through the theater, and nobody would have cared. They would have moved on to the next thing. And now it's like it's still a fight because of the Rotten Tomatoes drama. And now, don't forget that Brie Larson exists. Don't forget she exists.
5 or 10 years ago, not everything was as stupid, is just silly to be activism. It's like every stupid movie coming out now, they have to find a way to make it about activism. And 5 or 10 years ago, it was just because it was a movie. And I think people are just getting turned off more and more and more by the even if it's not what the actors want, it's not what the movie's meant to be. Somehow the media or the studio or the actor in this case or whatever, turn it into a statement piece. And then just right off the bat, you just lost half your audience.
Well, and that's just it. We have people that are getting into entertainment. That's where the issue... Really, at the end of it, that's where the issue is, and that's where the change happened, is now we have people working in and around the entertainment industry who aren't really concerned about entertaining people so much as they are,
furthering their belief system. Whatever they care about.
Evangelizing their politics to people through using platforms that were built up over decades, of fan goodwill, using those platforms.
To then shit on fan goodwill and then be like, why does everybody hate us? They clearly are racist, misogynist assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, why
it's
aren't you?
Not me, it's you.
And then the story is always like, well, you people always kept people like us out. Now we're taking it over.
But that's not true.
That's never the case. Actually, fandoms, for the most part, whether it's gaming or comics or anime or whatever it is, have actually been some of the most opening, inclusive, hobbies out there, because usually we were the misfits. Comic book fans, gamers, anime fans, we were for the longest time, until Hollywood got involved and told everybody it was cool, we were the misfits.
Yeah.
So we all kind of had that commonality. It didn't matter who you were, what race you were, what religion you were, sexual orientation, nobody cared. It was like we were all a bunch of misfits.
So you all hung out together.
And we all hung out together.
Let me ask you, was it cool to be a dungeon master when you were a kid?
No, because I'll tell you the truth. I actually was a closet D&D player. And we actually had another kid in our group, and I'm talking like junior high. We had another kid. He was actually he was on the soccer team, and he was like the all-star soccer player. And he used to like sneak over to the house to play, but he didn't want anybody to know he was playing.
You wouldn't act like did he act like he didn't know you other times?
No, he did, but we never talked about D&D at school.
Well, I mean, I know as a girl, people say, well, Star Wars fans, they have never been girls till recently, which is a flat-out lie.
That's a lie.
There were a lot of girls who liked it, but I know of a couple that came out later that liked it, but I would have never guessed that in school because they never said anything about it. But this whole idea that men kept women out of Star Wars is bullcrap. Every time I'd show up at an event or something for Star Wars, they'd be thrilled to death a girl was there. They're like, oh my god, it's a girl, yeah. They were never kept out. We were never treated. No. I was never quizzed. If I was, I would have won. I was never, I never had to prove my fandom. I never was asked to. They were just like, oh yeah, okay, come on in, let's go have fun,
Well, that's what these media outlets are doing now. That's what the Rotten Tomatoes litmus test is doing now. Is basically there was no gatekeeping in fandom, but now there is. Mm-hmm. You have to be the right kind of fan.
That's what the Bechdel test does too.
Yeah, and it's like, this is bullshit, because this is actually a 180 from where things used to be. We're actually regressing from where we used to be in fandom, and it's ending. I mean, people are starting to speak with their wallets again. We're starting to see more pushback against these sites. A lot of these sites, I think 5 years from now, a lot of these pop culture sites are going to be gone, because they really do not have a good bead on where the average fan is.
I noticed a lot of them are trying to change course now. Like, they're trying to play it in the middle now. That they're trying to, like, before they were like really far swinging, like, all you man babies and everything else. Now they're kind of like dipping their toe in on the other end. Like, well, maybe it's not everybody, or maybe it wasn't a vocal minority, or maybe it wasn't,
because it's changing, and that's very two-faced. Now I can totally see. I'm getting more respect for somebody who has opinions and sticks to their guns and doesn't change their mind just to get more views on their page or whatever, than I would somebody who's going to flip-flop. And that's just it. And for the longest time, it was like these, kids were coming out of college, they're writing for these outlets, and they were bringing their politics with them. And they were told this is where the market is. This is where the market's going. I think a lot of these movies were produced like this is what millennials want. This is where things are going.
That with books.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's
like,
not
the market's not where you are. Yeah, because by that they meant the market's not where you are because you're married and straight. And I'm not trying to be an asshat. I'm telling you the truth. That's what they were doing, and you can see what was picked up and stuff, and who was picked up, and it was, you know, when they said watching the market, that's what they meant. What are the buzzwords coming up so we can make sure we have that represented? And, you know, if they really want to go there. When I was a kid, I was a tomboy, and I actually wanted to be a boy, and I had short hair, and I used to wear, like, boyish clothes and stuff. I'm really girly now. But back then, I was like, I know how to use power tools and all that stuff. And to this day, I could do all that. But, you know, so if that was the case, you know, I could argue that, you know, I could have said that I wanted to be a boy and I was very boyish. Would that mean that I could get a book deal now because...
I don't know.
So, you know,
it's
true, though.
But anyway, yeah, things are changing. Things are definitely changing. I think Rotten Tomatoes is going to be gone soon. I don't think it has any purpose other than to market. I think these news outlets are pretty much as worthless as Rotten Tomatoes anymore. There are some really good ones out there, but they're getting buried. They're getting pushed down by the conglomerates that bankroll these kind of sites, like Comic Book Resources.
Yeah. Sorry, I have news for you. This was longer than 15 minutes.
It was. So we're going to wrap this one up. This is our daily rant.
We put a lot of things into one, though.
We did. So we're going to wrap this one up. We will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.